What's going on, dude? Doing good. Just got this batch in. I'm testing this. So, a good solid 14 thou behind this bevel. This is a 12 degree per side edge bevel. It's a 600 grit edge. It's dropped 1 micron, and we'll have to check it out. So, let's see here where we're at on that. So that's where we are on the shoulder. So it's about 14 thousandths, but it's behind the 12 degree per side. You know, the thickness or thinness of the edge itself, and then where it's at the shoulder is important. So we'll do some testing here. I'm going to show you guys the stability of the CPM 4V. The hardness on this is about 65 plus. You know, where it was tested on the hardness, I didn't remove every last bit of decarb on there, so I wasn't able to get a solid test, but we're 65 plus on here. Show you guys where we're at with the sharpness. This is a 600 grit edge, mind you, but we still have the paper towel here, and we'll see where we're at. So toothier edge. If we mirror polish this, you know, like 8K or whatnot, I'd definitely be able to slide through the paper towel much easier. Again, this is paper towel, you know. But, you know, it's kind of a rougher cut. But it's still very sharp. It's incredibly hard steel, the CPM 4V, with the heat treat that was done on this. So, but just because CPM 4V is really hard, the beauty of this steel is the fact that it's incredibly stable. So far, out of all the steels I've used, I don't think anything can match the hardness and stability that you can reach with something like CPM 4V. The problem is you really need CBN or diamond to sharpen it. So it's not fucking around. It's a really high performance steel, but it's not for everybody. It'll rust. It might be difficult to sharpen for people that don't know how to sharpen very well. If you know how to sharpen, it's really easy to sharpen. So I think that there's a lot of information that gets misconstrued when people talk about how difficult something is to sharpen. But yeah, it's not difficult to sharpen at all. So we have here, I've already tested before we started this live video, like any good tester should, you know, and notice it didn't take any damage. We'll find a new spot. We'll find this spot right here. It's a learned skill. It's important. So this is a piece of brass rod. What I've done is I've put Sharpie on this area to see the areas where I've taken off the brass, in fact, for testing. So what I do is I color that on there again so we can estimate how much work we've done. And then we check out the edge and we see what kind of damage is on there. Now, realistically, my knives aren't designed to, the finished knife is not designed for this. This is just to show you, while I have the knife in my hands, that the quality is up to par. Because realistically, I think that these knives should be designed to cut, and designing them for this purpose to handle this test, it would reduce the really high-end performance. I would say anywhere from 15 to 10 thousandths and a 15 degree per side. Any knife that's about that thick should be able to handle it. Most of your production knives are about 20, 25 thou and 17 to 20 degrees per side on the bevels. So that's just too thick in my opinion. So when you buy a custom from me, you know, it's going to be really, really thin. And I think that's good. You can't find that anywhere. That's something unique about my knives. Is the only way you can get something about that thin is by making it by hand. It just takes forever. That's the only way to get the really hot rod geometry. So that's what 4V is. 4V is a monster, not because of the steel, not because if a production company has 4V, but it's a perfect storm if you have high hardness heat treat, extreme geometry, you know, skilled grinds, all that kind of stuff. And if you could sharpen, and you're getting some incredible results. So again, this is about 14 thousandths. Take it easy, homie. This is about 14 thousandths behind the edge of a 12 degree per side, and we're about to tackle this brass rod here and see what we got. So first we'll just start making cuts in the brass, and we'll start twisting the cuts out. All right, let's see what we have here. Anywhere from $400 to $500, it just depends. Let's see on there. We've definitely gotten some damage there at the edge, but we'll check here on the paper and see how much damage we got. The damage isn't really expressed through the paper. It's still there. This is cutting just regular paper really well. If we slow down in the area where it looks like it took some damage, what it looks like though is actually rolling damage. I was really torquing on it pretty hardcore. So you can see these kind of areas of inconsistency right there. That's where we have that. We'll see if we could still cut the towel. Let's go ahead and mark that. So that was the area that we were using. Yeah, not able to cut the towel in that area. Still able to handle paper in that area of damage. So I'd say that's within reason. That's reasonable. Would stropping take the roll out? I don't think so. You know, I think that would have to be, I would re-crisp that up on a, I'd re-crisp that up on a stone. We could see the effects of stropping. This is just a bare leather strop. This is just like an old school strop. It's just bare leather, and it's just radiused on here. There's no compound or anything on there. And we can see what effect this does. I don't think this is going to have any kind of effect though. .65, 66 HRC. So we'll start here again. So I was cutting the paper towel fine before that. Like I said, with what I see here, nah, that'd have to be re-crisped back up on a stone. That's paper towel. This is just regular paper. It'll cut regular paper just fine. So this is where the damage is. In fact, it looks like we're getting more hesitation after the stropping, which is interesting. So yeah, that would just be re-crisped back up on the stone. So realistically, you know, this is really, really thin. This is already thinner than anything you can ever hope to buy when it comes to like a regular knife. You know, no one's really making any of these knives this thin. I would say 4V did really good. I'd like to actually even just see this thinner, because I really don't design the knives to do shit like this. In order to make something, you know, do better at this, you'd have to sacrifice some of the cutting geometry. The thinner you go. Yeah, use a pull-through sharpener. Yeah, abomination. Yeah, really cool kind of little test there with this latest batch of CPM 4V. Look for more of these. I'm gonna go back downstairs and finish this knife up. But you know, every knife I make, I do a quick little simple test to see. Every knife I make is always just sharpened by hand, you know, and always check geometries and tweak it and fine tune it. And that's kind of what you pay for when you buy a high-end custom knife. So kind of cool. Just thought I'd share a little bit of that. I'm going to get back downstairs and